welcome to another video. Today I will be setting up my 2019-2020 Erin Condren planner. So in last week's video I showed you all how I unboxed the teacher planner and how I'll be using that not for lesson planning but for day-to-day life planning instead. And today's not going to be an actual plan with me. You won't see the weekly view. We're just going to set up all the other kinds of pages that I want to have in here, and there are actually quite a few. The teacher planner has a lot of extra pages. That's part of why I like it. The pages are large. There was really a lot of space to add things and do lots of things with, and so here we're going to set everything up. What we're looking at right now is that I will plan to make this a mostly pen only kind of planner. I don't intend to do a ton of extra decorating. I just need it to hold information. And so I have this 10-piece set of Erin Condren markers, and I really liked those because I thought they had a pretty good like variation in color, and you get kind of a little bit of everything from the rainbow, and I thought that they would be really nice for color coding and whatnot moving forward. I also really liked the idea of having a single set that was uniform and I could just kind of take if I needed to, though I think this planner will mostly stay at home. This is the front page, and I'm pausing here to put washi tape on the top and bottom of where my camera frame is because this is a really new setup. The teacher planner is much larger than the Erin Condren planner, and my usual setup, it doesn't let it fit into the frame. So I had to prop my camera holder thingy on top of my washi tape drawers, and so it's really weird setup, and it's like above my head when I'm sitting down, which means that I can't see where I am in the frame to check unless I stand up. And so what I'm doing here is just putting these strips of tape so that I know, oh, if I go too high, I'm no longer in the frame. I saw that somewhere in the world. I think I've seen it on like lots of different places where people say that's how they keep their stuff in the frame of the camera, and I think it worked. We'll see. And yeah, there on the left you see that I got a cup of coffee, and so I'll be drinking that as I set this up. I wanted to do this in real time, however I still have a sprained ankle. I'm still hobbling about the house. Right now I'm doing this voiceover sitting on the couch, and I was able to get to my desk and prop my leg up in enough of a weight so that it didn't hurt, but not enough to, like, I was still grumpy about it. Like, I hate the fact that I can't walk around, so I just didn't feel like I wanted to do an in-person voiceover. I just set up the thing, and then now that set up the planner, and then now that I'm comfortable on the couch, I can do a voiceover without sounding as grumpy as I was after getting everything set up, it was just annoying because I had to deal with my sprained ankle and then also the new setup, and when I finally got everything like in place, I was done. I wasn't able to like just converse. I also didn't plan to do this video this week, so lots of things changed and now this is what's happening. And again, I think my head pops in every now and again because I really don't know where the camera is right now. But I'm starting this first page by just lettering in my name. And as we go through, because this is a voiceover, I am going to just speed things up a bit. I've just been talking a lot, so I'm keeping it in real time. I especially wanted to keep the lettering in real time because I think a lot of the times hand lettering gets sped up and it's kind of hard to see exactly what like how long it takes to hand letter. Like, it's not like writing by hand, just your regular everyday handwriting. My handwriting looks it's okay, but it's not the best, and my hand lettering I think looks a lot better, but it is a slow and like deliberate process, and so I decided not to speed anything up so that you could see what that looks like. Additionally, I decided to use a faux calligraphy style here, so I wrote my name out in my script, and then I am adding like a darker or a thicker downstroke with my marker so that it looks like it's written with a brush pen, but this is just the thick side of the Erin Condren dual tip marker. I think this is the coral color. all of the packs of the Erin Condren markers have the names of the colors on the backs, and so yeah, I think this one's called Coral. And when I'm flipping the page, I'm checking to make sure that it's not bleeding through, because these markers are kind of inky, and I've never really worked in an Erin Condren with marker before. I've only used like black gel pens, so I wasn't sure how it was going to work. I did do a pen test in another page, you'll see it later, but I didn't know how the paper would react to my thickening the downstrokes, because that put more ink onto the page, and I was worried that it would bleed through. It didn't, though. It didn't bleed through, barely ghosted. Like, this is some nice paper, the Erin Condren paper. I'm always surprised because, like I said, I don't do anything but, like, use it with a black gel pen, and I don't do pen only in my current Erin Condren. That's a memory planner. I use a ton of stickers in it, so that adds, like, it covers the backs a lot of the times of pages if anything happened to bleed through, and then a lot of the time I'm also writing on top of a sticker. So I don't have a lot of experience interacting with the paper itself and different types of materials, but I found that with this planner I did that a lot, and it was really interesting. The paper held up really well. It's pretty good. So set up the first page just with my name and a lot of talking, and I think we are about ready to go into a sped version. So we are now working at 3 times speed, which I hope is okay. We'll see. It's kind of my go-to speed, so we'll see how this works. This actually took me like an hour and 40 minutes to set up, so I also like that I can kind of speed things up a little bit, because there was a lot of me just writing and trying to make lines straight, which isn't the most interesting thing to watch. And so here I'm writing my information all about me, my name, school, year, like just the program I'm in grad school, and then I'm outlining kind of what I want to do with these classroom resources and websites and password sections. I am going to use them as is. I'm not really worried about, I'm not going to lose my planner. It's going to stay at home most of the time, and I really want a place to collect that kind of information. The email, phone number, and address I will fill in later. I don't want to have my email and phone number on the internet, and also I don't have an address yet. We're moving apartments, and I want to put the new apartment address there, but it's not settled yet. And then the way I divided classroom resources and websites and passwords is that classroom resources are going to be like school-related classroom password things, so like the way to get into the campus, like databases and things, that login information, and then the other side is just other important login information that I have. For this events and volunteers and whatever page, I am actually just whiting out everything in the middle so that it just says class information. And I've separated those 2 blocks into fall 2019 and spring 2020, where I'm going to write my class information. What courses am I taking? Maybe the professor contact information. I don't know how things will be set up. Meeting times, things like that will go there. And then in the bottom part, I'll eventually put things like big projects. For the communication log, there's not really much to do. I just wanted to fill in a section so you can see how I intend to use it, which is basically as is. The dates I contacted someone, I didn't write their name here, but I fill it in later, and then the reason I contacted them. So like that day I was filling out this, I was doing this setup, I had to contact someone at the university to talk about updates to some scholarships that I was getting and their distribution over my 2 years there, to make sure I knew exactly what to expect going into next semester. And that was important enough, like, that I wanted to document it. Not everything's going to go there. I do a lot of random calls and emails, but the big things are going to be kind of collected there so that I know the last time I talked to her about this was on this particular day. I'm still a little uncertain about what to do with these pages, but I think I want to use them for a list of monthly goals, and so I filled in a couple of July ones there just to see, or just so you get an idea of what I want to put there, but mostly that page is still very fluid. I'm going to try a few goals for July and then see if I actually like having them there or if I want to move them somewhere else. Now, something really cool about the Erin Condren Teacher Lesson Planner is that it does have these sheets of graph paper. There are 4 sheets of graph paper intended to be used for like graphing student progress or seating charts and things like that. But I decided to use it for some tracking. And so On this page, I'm currently just counting the squares to make sure I divide things evenly, but I want to use it for like health and wellness kind of. So the top is going to be a weight tracker, and just at the end of the month I'll see what my final weight is at the end of that month, and just kind of keep a track over the next year, kind of where things are and how that works out. And then in the bottom half of the page, I'm going to write in some health goals, so things that I want to ultimately achieve this year that will help me live a healthier lifestyle. I didn't write any in for this particular video because I wanted to be able to think about them a little more, but I know one of them is definitely going to be related to running and or walking. And well, I have two goals really. There's the running and or walking, where I just like to run and walk, like cardio exercise. I like that and I want to do more of it and get better at it. However, additionally, I am so weak. I don't like to do strength training, so I never ever do it, which means that I have no muscular strength. So another goal for this upcoming year and just in general is to get a little stronger. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, but sometime I want to be able to just lift some stuff without struggling as much as I do these days. I have a sprained ankle, which means that I have been on crutches for the past week, and it has been one of the hardest weeks ever because there are so many muscles you use when using crutches, and so many of mine are just so underdeveloped that it's so hard to use the crutches, and I'm sore all the time because I'm not strong enough to use the crutches. So that's an example of something that I want to fix. Like, crutches aren't like supposed to be easy, they're not as good as walking, but like this shouldn't be nearly as hard as they are for me right now. I'm like hurting other parts of my body as they try to support the fact that I can't use one ankle. It's been a time. So that's an example of what will kind of go in this section. And you can see that I have set up a graph for weight tracking, and it just goes from July through next June. And I start at like an upper limit, like not my maximum weight and not my current weight, but just I give it like an extra 10 pounds at the top just in case I happen to gain any weight and like go up. But then I go through and mark just through the bottom, and I don't know, I went as I made every grid square like 3 pounds. I don't know if that's really like realistic, or like I don't know that I'll use the whole span of this graph, but I just have it there so that I know I have plenty of room. And also, there was no need for me to go like beyond this minimum number. I don't really know where it is. It's in like, I think it's 155, and that's like fine. Like if I got to 155, I'd be like, okay, cool. And that's I think about the place I was the last time I was like, I really liked the weight that I was at, so I just kind of kept it that span of graph, and I don't anticipate getting beyond that within the next year. Like that doesn't seem feasible to me, so I didn't bother making the graph any bigger. And then I decided to make the like accent color of this page this orange color in the Erin Condren marker set. I think it's called Clementine, Tangerine, I don't remember, but it's the orangest color. It also stands in for the yellow. One thing about this marker set that's a little strange is that there are a lot of pinks and reds, and like one orange color, no yellows, just this one orange. But it's okay. I feel like yellow is a color that's like, it's fun to see in the world and like on things, but it's hard to write with. So if you had to prioritize a color, like I guess it wouldn't be yellow because it's often hard to write with. And if you're going to plan with these kinds of markers, then yellow is not like great for that. But I don't know. I didn't miss it, but I did notice that. Then on this page, I am making a reading tracker, and I'm so excited about this page. I hope I use it. I have not had a good like track record with keeping up with these grid page types of things. Just anything I have to go in and do every single day that isn't essential to planning my life, I tend to not keep up with very well. Like I go into my planners every day just because I have to check and I have to know what's happening and I have to know what I need to do on a given day, and that's like not negotiable. Like if I don't do that, I'll forget things and I won't get things done and things will be bad. But something like this reading tracker, if I don't get into it every day, nothing's going to happen except a few weeks later when I'm seeing I'm behind, I'll be sad. So I haven't been the best at keeping up with them, but I want to keep up with them better, and I just like this notebook so much. So I hope that the fact that I like the Erin Condren teacher planner will make me want to go in and like fill all these things out. And so as you can see here, I've set up kind of like a standard mood tracker or like any other kind of yearly tracker grid page thing that anyone's ever done. I have the first letter of the months across the top and then 1 through 31 down the side. And I want to mark like via color code how much I read every day. My goal right now is 30 minutes a day. That I think is a really standard kind of goal. It's like you're learning to read in like elementary school and your homework is always to read like 15-30 minutes a day. Like, I don't know, in my head when I think about minimum daily reading, 30 minutes feels good. I haven't done that really in so long. I used to read a ton growing up, and really from like 6th through 11th grade or so, I was reading a ton, and then I stopped reading as much when I got into college, and like all the reading I've done since then has been for school, and I want to not do that. I really want to get back into reading things that I want to read, and there are lots of things that I have been meaning to read, and so I want to make time for that. So I have this color code at the bottom where if I don't read at all, I use this fuchsia color. If I read less than 30 minutes, but I read at least a little bit, like I tried to read, I have the orange tangerine color. Green is for 30 minutes. I got that in. Good job. If I read between like over 30 minutes but less than an hour, then it's that blue color. And then if I read for an hour or more, then I will color it in purple. I don't see that happening very often. Like, an hour is a really long time, and there are like lots of other things that I do throughout the day, so I thought that was like a good upper limit basically, and then just have this general more than an hour category. Then at the top, I decided that my accent color for this page was going to be that light pink color, and so I wrote reading tracker at the top, and I think, yeah, so on top of the graph, I wrote time read to mark that this is where I'm marking the amount of time that I read in a particular day. And then on the right hand side of the page, I'm going to be just having a list for the books that I read. So if this works and I read more per day, then I should also be reading more books. And so I have a section for books read, and I'll just have little bullet points and write the book and the author every time I complete a book. I finished the book yesterday. It was good. I was excited. Well, it was good that I read the book. The book wasn't that great, really. It was okay. It was called The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. He's like Greek. I can't pronounce his last name, but I got it as part of Book of the Month, which is a subscription service that sends you a book every month. You get to pick between 5, and I like it. I canceled it for a while because I wasn't reading as much. I've picked it up again. This particular book I got as part of January's Book of the Month, and it was okay. I kind of liked the ending because I thought it was very interesting. I didn't like most of the book. I just didn't find it very engaging. Like, the narrator wasn't the most interesting person. The story was kind of slow, but it also wasn't horrible, and I wanted like a quick and easy read, something really light that I could be like, oh yes, I finished this book, but also wasn't, like, it didn't have to be a masterpiece. I just wanted something that I could read, pass some time, and get back into the habit of reading regularly. And so while I have been talking, I have been setting up this new grid page for a mood tracker. I've kept up with a lot of mood trackers, but like on and off. I can do it for like a few months at a time even, and then I stop. But usually it's because I've changed wherever I'm planning and don't move my mood tracker. So when I was journaling daily in a horizontal Erin Condren, I had a mood tracker there that I kept for like 3 or 4 months, and I kept it pretty consistently. So I'm hoping I'll be able to keep up with this one. And really, I am very committed to staying in this planner this year. Partially because I spent so much money on it and I want to use it. And then additionally, I'm just tired of moving around different places. I feel like at this point, maybe a year and a half into planning, I have tried a ton of things and you can kind of see it scattered across my channel, and I feel like I want to just standardize a bit more. And I've tried lots of different things, and I feel like I know now kind of what I'm looking for and what works and what doesn't work a little more than I did a while ago. Like, I've tried so many different planner systems, really all of the biggest ones, and so I feel like now I know which ones I like and which ones I don't. And one of them I do really like is the Erin Condren system. Or really just a bound system, and the Erin Condren happens to be a reputable, like, good brand. So I finished the mood tracker, and I didn't put like what each color stands for because I don't know exactly how I want to like divvy that up yet, but I did want to use all 10 colors, so I just put them onto the tracker page. What we're looking at here is 2 of the lined notes pages, and I have sticky notes here that I won't set up because I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about this. I think I will use it for like one page as a mid-year check-in to go in and write a bit about how the planner is going, how things are going, if anything needs to change in my system, and just kind of reflect on that a bit. And the other page is labeled as being for my new planner. So at the very end of the year, what do I want to do next year? Which planner do I want to use? Why do I want to use it? How do I want to set it up? And like things like that, really. Ideally, things between this year and next year won't change very much, especially because life shouldn't change that much. Like, I'm going through a big transition now between moving from an undergraduate program to a graduate program and things like that, but between these next 2 years, I'll be in the same grad program at the same school, living in the same place, so there shouldn't be like that much different. So hopefully this system works and next year will be just the same, but we'll see. These pages are the 2 notes pages that come in the Erin Condren Teacher Planner before the monthly view. So you get 2 notes pages, the monthly view, your weeks, and then 2 more notes pages, then 2 more notes pages for the next month, then the next month's monthly view, etc. And so for this spread, I decided that I wanted to use these pages for finances and budgeting, especially since I'm trying to earn more of my own money. At the present time, I don't have a job. I've been a teacher's assistant at my college for the past 3 years, and now I'm not at that college, but I'm also moving, so I'm not in a place to like get a job where I am now, but I'm not in my new location yet, so I don't know like what jobs are over there, and it's a time. But I'm just hanging out and want to have a place to collect all money related things. So what I'm setting up on this side of the page is an expense tracker, so the date of when I made a purchase, a little like blurb about what the purchase was, and then how much it cost, just to make sure that things are like I'm spending my money in ways that make sense. And so here I'm counting the weeks in July versus August to see where I want to assign the last week of July, like if I want to keep that as a July week or an August week. For this next spread that I'm doing, I decided to keep it a July week. And so here I'm splitting this page up into 5 sections, 1 for each week in the month, so that I can have basically an income tracker. So week 1, how much money did I make and where did I make it? Because I'm going to, really in July, this is just a test run. I don't know if I'll be making any money in July, but it depends. So I'm trying to find a few online tutoring jobs, tutoring in like math and physics, which are like my areas of expertise, or English, teaching English to people as a second language. And there are tons of different online tutoring opportunities, and I'm in the process of applying to a few different places. And so if I got into any of those, then I want to be able to mark every week like what tutoring I did, how much money I made from that, and which company I did it with if I happen to do it with more than one. When the school year starts up, I will be applying to be a substitute teacher in the area where I'll be living, and I want to be able to mark that too. So like, what money do I make from tutoring? What money do I make substituting? Maybe I'll decide that instead of either of those, I'll be going to do something else. Like, there's a Denny's across the street from my university. Maybe I'll work there. Whatever money I'm making, I want to know where it's from and how much it is so that I can keep track, know it roughly each month, kind of how much to expect, and then also to know where most of my money is coming from and like which places are the best places, and if ever there's like a busy time and I need to drop a job or something, like which one can I afford to not keep up with or something like that. I am turning the bottom part into a section for bills and upcoming expenses. So right now on the left hand side, I'm just putting down the bills that I have, and then on the right hand side, a few upcoming expenses, not necessarily all in the month of July, but big things that I know are coming up and I'll need to be able to be ready for. Also, not everything that I'm paying for myself. I am still financially dependent on my parents, so this is not like I have to budget out of my non-existent money. It's that I have to remember these things are coming up and I'll need to talk to them about it and make sure that we can make everything work. And I like this section. It was originally dates to remember, and I don't really understand how that works in the teacher planner because I feel like those dates go in the monthly view, but they don't, I don't know, I don't really get the reason for like those two sections, but I do like the idea of using it as a section for bills and upcoming expenses. So now I decided I wanted to set up the rest of July in this video. However, there is nothing happening in July. I have literally nothing planned right now. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, and that's it. That's all that's happening. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any appointments. I don't have anything to do, really. I'm just here packing up, trying to find an apartment. That's it. But I do put the like holiday sticker in July because for the 4th of July, because the teacher planner has these sheets of stickers where you get to pick which holidays you want to put in, and I don't put in all the holidays, but I do put in the ones that I think are the most interesting to me. And I hoped that I would be able to do this video without my planner, but I can't see the holidays to tell you about them. So I have to go get my planner, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I had to hop over to get my planner, but I did it. And I mean literally hop. I didn't want to grab my crutches, so I hopped over on one foot and I got my planner. I also put in a few little bill due stickers. My Simply Gilded subscription box and my Spotify payment both always happen on the exact same day. My Verizon and Discover payments are a little weird because they have like due dates, like when the bills are due, but I try to pay them like as soon as I get the bill, and that varies a little depending on when, like there's a certain time period it usually happens in, but it depends on like if that falls on a weekend or not, and it gets weird. So I just put those two bills on the general week that I expect to get those in. And then I decided to set up my planner by putting the holidays down for the rest of the months, just so I can have them like on my radar and be aware of them. So I'm doing this faster than I thought. For August, I put down Friendship Day and Book Lovers Day. For September, I marked Labor Day, and I'm using this flag to mark that classes begin. I wanted to put a little emoji sticker. I know I have emoji stickers for like school from the Coffee Monsters Co., and I wanted to put one in there, but I couldn't find the album I put them in. So I'm gone for a while because I'm frantically searching and I can't find it. So I'll put that in later. And I didn't feel like, I didn't hesitate to put all the holidays down because I don't see my, like, these monthly spreads aren't going to need to coordinate to like a kit or anything. I am just going to be writing stuff in. So I also added International Literacy Day, National Hispanic Heritage Month, When Autumn Begins, and the International Day of Peace. October, the only holiday that I celebrated is Halloween. There were a lot of other things, but honestly, there weren't holidays I was familiar with. For November, I put Daylight Savings Time, Election Day, Veterans Day, National Family Literacy Day, National Authors Day, and Thanksgiving. What I like about these holidays is that they aren't just like regular national holidays. Some of them are just interesting holidays that might be relevant to a teacher at a school, and they're pretty cool, like National Authors Day. I thought it was interesting. In December, I am marking Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. And then on the other side, I also mark when winter begins. And I am just picking the holidays that like I think are the most interesting or actually celebrate. So there are some that like exist, like Hanukkah was back there in December somewhere, but I don't celebrate Hanukkah and I don't know anyone that does, so it's not a holiday I need to keep track of, if that makes sense. January, I have marked New Year's Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as well as Chinese New Year. For February, there were a lot of interesting things here. There's Groundhog Day, International Day of Women and Girls in Science, Abraham Lincoln's birthday, Mardi Gras, Ash Wednesday, Black History Month, Valentine's Day, and Leap Day. I don't celebrate Easter or Lent, so like Ash Wednesday wasn't essential for me to mark, but I did because I know people that do celebrate it, and like my family still mostly keeps up with it. And so when they come around talking about Lent and asking me what I'm doing, which will be nothing, I want to like know, oh, Ash Wednesday is coming up, like be prepared for those conversations kind of thing. Also a lot in March: Women's History Month, National Crafts Month, Read Across America Day, International Women's Day, Spring Forward, St. Patrick's Day, Spring Begins, International Day of Happiness, and Pi Day. Phew, getting winded. Especially because I had to hop over to my desk. I need to go stronger, you guys. What else? Yes, so that's it for March. In April, there's April Fool's Day, National Poetry Month, Easter, National Library Week, Administrative Professionals Week, and Earth Day. And this is an interesting setup. So I am talking a lot and not focusing a ton on like the camera because I'm focusing on what I'm saying, but I hope that it's not too shaky. I'm surprised. Like I haven't noticed a ton of obvious shakiness, even though I know my setup was not the most stable. So definitely let me know what you think. Is it too shaky? Do I need to figure out something else? Or is it like bearable? In May, we have Children's Book Week, Cinco de Mayo, Teacher Appreciation Day, Mother's Day, Memorial Day, and National Physical Fitness and Sports Month. Something weird about these stickers is that the paper is not as white as the Erin Condren paper. So while I laid on the stickers for National Dairy Month, Pet Appreciation Week, Father's Day, and when summer begins, note that the sticker is kind of a darker grayish color than the paper, which is a pretty bright white. And that's really weird to me. It makes the labels look really dark. We're back in July, a whole year later, and I mark the 4th of July and National Moon Day, which made me realize that I forgot National Moon Day in July 2019, and so I went back to put that in. It's a weird paper. I don't know. The sticker paper. I'm back to the sticker paper. I had to flip-flop between talking about the sticker paper and talking about just what I was doing because I kept doing stuff. So these are the pages that are after the weeks, but before the 2 notes pages that start the beginning of the next month. Yeah. And so this one side I decided to use as a gratitude log, which I have in my KKK right now. I haven't been keeping up with it for the month of June, but I do want to keep keeping up with it, and I decided to try to put it in here and see how I like that. As always, I am separating it into 2 columns because I treat my gratitude in 2 different ways. I have a general gratitude list for just things in my life and my day, and then one specifically about my boyfriend, things I appreciate and love about him. I'll go on that side, just because I want to be mindful about both aspects. And when I had one gratitude list, it was a weird time, because most of the time it's really easy for me to just be like, oh, I'm thankful for like all these things that he is and does, and it's like, well, that's fine, but there are like so many other parts of my life. But that was like my go-to. Like, I was lazy with my gratitude list. I felt like I wasn't thinking enough holistically, so I split it into 2 lists so that I could like be mindful of everything. Now we are doing a quick flip through, and you can just pause on any page. This is a little quicker, I think, than I anticipated, but I think you get a sense of what's going on, especially since we put all this together. So I'm just flipping through all the pages, and we go through the different notes pages I set up, all the months, and what those look like with their holidays put in. And then we get to the very end, and I realize I forgot a section of the planner and to set that up properly. So the student checklist section I decided to use as a YouTube checklist, and I really like this idea. So I put my videos on the left, like just where it says name, I put the video that I plan to do. Then across I have checkmark places for prepping for that video, filming it, editing it, saving it onto my computer, uploading it to YouTube, whether I have made a thumbnail for it, whether the video has been made live, if I have made an Instagram post for the video, and like just letting people know that it's posted, and then a place to track after 1 week of the video being live, how many views that it gets. And so I have this little checklist going, and I didn't set up like the writing on camera because I actually really wanted to have it before I was ready to do the rest of the setup. I knew I wanted to have this to track that information, and decided that I was just going to go in and do it because I really needed it. This was useful. And I just whited everything at the top out except for where it says checklist, and then I put this little YouTube icon sticker up there that is from my shop if you are interested. It's linked, I think. And yeah, and so now this is my YouTube checklist, and I'm just checking off a few things that I need to add that I've done. And that's just about it. So we have finished setting everything up. Oh, that's right. I'm using the right hand side of the page for a thumbnail gallery. That is purely decorative. I don't need the right hand side. There aren't this many checklists per video of things I need to do. So I'm just going to print out all the thumbnails for the videos that are on the left hand page, and then make a fun gallery on the right hand page. And that is everything. If you've liked what you've seen, please be sure to like, comment, and or subscribe so that I know, and I will see you next time. Bye.